honestly feel like Kobe. I'm like Wilkins with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready? Who ready?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all for joining us. This is the One and One Sports Show. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's good?
So, like I was saying, like a little in a pre-meeting. So we basically got free agent frenzy this show, and there's a lot of names out there, moving pieces around, going from team to team. So I just figured we pretty much look at the big names that folks will know about. And since we have so much, I'm just going to keep a time on, each one, so we were able to, talk about these moving players, each one of them. Now, of course, we ain't going to get to all of them, but at least the ones that we already have mentioned already in our little chat. So with that being said, I figured since we have an in-house Steelers expert, I figured we start off the show with the new-looking Steelers and they new addition. So, Mr. Bennett, the floor is yours, Doc.
Yes, sir. Let's ride. Very excited about this move. It's definitely a change. Shout out to the new GM, Omar Khan, and he's definitely not doing things in traditional Steelers fashion. He's out there making moves all over the place. There's others I can talk about, but I won't get into that. But I know he's continued to make moves over those last couple of days. But yes, Russell Wilson to the Steelers. I love the move. I mean, again, 26-8 last year. I mean, it's clearly a great improvement over Kenny Pickett. Mason, in fact, he threw more touchdowns than Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph combined in a year. So, so certainly I'm looking forward to this upgrade. He's still great with the play action pass. I think he still has the tools. I think this is a fresh start, fresh environment. I thought the Denver situation was just toxic from jump, but I think that's experience humbled him some. So he's never going to come in there hungry. And Tomlin, he's not going to tolerate any drama or nonsense there. Like, again, not to talk about other moves, but, there's been other moves made to get other drama out of the locker room. So this is just going to be a clean slate for everybody. And to get all the talk about this is going to be a quarterback competition, no, it's Russell's job to lose to Kenny Pickett. I can't see this necessarily being a competition. You got a $40 million quarterback coming in, a 9-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl champion coming in. And again, just with the buzz now, I mean, look, if Kansas City, if they're going to be taking a Taylor Swift going on, look, what Sierra's going to be doing in Pittsburgh, that's going to be merged. I mean, that city's just going to be lit. And, so I'm definitely looking forward to what they're putting together this year. They've made some moves, had some other additions on defense, and definitely look for some offensive options. I think T. Boyd's out there. I think they're looking at him pretty seriously from Cincinnati. So we can get him into the lab and then go into the draft, focusing on the O-line, getting a center and some tackles in the draft, and possibly another receiver. I think we're in good shape. So again, Khan, shout out to Omar Khan. He's doing his thing. Very excited about this new change. Again, I think just the new change in the office. I mean, Khan's going all in to win. We got some veterans on the team. We got Cam Hayward. We got TJ Watt. These guys getting up there in age. And these guys have a small window, so I think they're going all in to try to win one. And I'm very excited about this move, very enthusiastic about what this season's going to be looking like. So shout out to the Omar and the Steelers for what they're doing. Let's ride.
I personally think I believe it is an upgrade compared to the current quarterbacks that the Steelers had on their roster. I don't know if it's true or not. I think I saw right before the show that Rudolph is no longer there.
Yeah, that was not looking. That wasn't looking.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
He already signed.
I saw that.
He signed already.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So
cool.
I'm looking at the Wilson pickup is big. I see Tom mentioned in the chat that he's humble now, which I believe. He's not going to come in and requesting all those perks that he did with Denver. Tomlin not going to go for that. He just got to go over there and basically repolish his name. But I'm curious, though. What's up, KP? I'm curious who's going to have a bigger impact on the Steelers, because I think there was a bigger pickup on the defensive side of the ball, and that's Patrick Queen. Now that dude,
like I said,
I think he may make a bigger impact than Russell Wilson. He's just a quarterback, so he has more eyeballs on him. But more props for stealing Queen from the Ravens. That dude, he's an impact player. He's a game changer on the defensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. Well, they basically picked up two quarterbacks, right? They got a quarterback on offense, and they got a quarterback on defense with the Mike backers.
He said Jerry. I said Jerry missed out on Henry.
Oh, it looked like Mr. Bennett throws up on him.
Yeah, he was looking like 18, 19 per, and so the fact they would get him at that rate, that's a steal to me.
Yeah, and one of the best things about going to Pittsburgh is that Mike Tomlin is that coach that can level all that stuff out. He'll turn both of those players back into Pro Bowl players again. Pittsburgh's defense, they get a couple of good draft picks, they'll be one of the other top defenses in the league in the top 10. If they can solidify a quarterback and just put all that to rest and watch Russell go over, humble himself, like they said in the comments, and just play good football, Pittsburgh run that ball with Najee Harris, can get some linemen, because there's a lot of good linemen out there, a lot of good receivers. Pittsburgh will be a top 10 team. They'll be a top 10 team. Again, they'll be in the playoffs for sure. Because Baltimore, I don't know why they let Quinn go. He's a young thoroughbred out there. They needed him.
I mean, they had once they brought in because he was underperforming. And so once they brought in Roquan Smith, who's a better player, you could see that fate was sealed there.
Roquan, they play different positions. Roquan is already solidified. It's Queen's time. Roquan's already paid. It's Queen's time. They needed him. I'm telling you, if their defense would have been, they shouldn't have let him go. Pittsburgh,
I mean, this is Baltimore. This is Baltimore. I think they can. I think they can fully replace him at linebacker.
They let J.T. Dobbins left too on offense. They let a few people go.
I mean, Dobbins, he was an injury risk. At this point, it's like you can't keep saying, hey, when is this guy gonna stay healthy, and you hold on to him. I understand that move, letting him go. Maybe like a team there's other teams that made some moves that was kind of questionable, where it's just kind of like, and it's a surprising one. But I'm fully on board. I'm fully on board with Pittsburgh and what some of the moves they made. I think they made some strong moves. I think they're gonna look pretty good. I know, like Mr. Bennett says it almost every week. Like, hey, haven't been a playoff win in a while. He always mentions that they have a strong record against Lamar Jackson when they play him. So,
2-4.
Yeah. So it's like you figure out what to do against Cincinnati, and you go from there. So I think they're in good position. And I know just I will say this, having a grown up in the quarterback room, and you can say whatever about the controversy. He did his teammates like this, he did like that. The guy's a professional, he's gonna come in to work. It's not gonna be the Mason Rudolph was like, hey, I'm gonna start him or not. It's not gonna be like the Kenny Pickett where it was just like, the league is too much for you as a starter, probably more of a backup. So it's kind of like an adult at the table. It's like, hey, I think that's a good move, and they're off to a good start. They did get rid of Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
But it's one of those deals to where Pittsburgh, as quiet as it's kept, they develop receivers like no other. And I think with Russell Wilson, it's time for George Pickens to be unleashed, especially the way he ended the season. Like, especially if you're a fantasy guy, you saw, it's like, man, he's killing it. It's like, where was this earlier? Where was this when I was trying to win my league? And it's like, so yeah, they got some big things on the horizon.
Yes, absolutely. But it's also lining up too. I have my eyes on Joe Milton III from Tennessee. I think he'll be around the fourth round or whatever. They need to pick him up. Guy's about 6'4", 6'5", 250. Has a howitzer for an arm and mobility. So again, he might be a project, but I can imagine him being under Russell Wilson for a year or two. Sitting behind him, I could definitely see that working. So I'm definitely have my eyes that they're going to go after him. I don't know if a Penix or whatever, he may be there, late in some later rounds, but definitely if Milton's around the fourth round, I say we take him. That'd be out, that could be a future quarterback prospect too.
Yeah. Before we get to the next player, I think I heard that when they signed Wilson, he's not a guaranteed starter. He's supposed to be there for competition.
No, don't believe the hype. Don't believe.
Yeah,
it.
I was like, if
they're gonna say it's a
indictment on Wilson if
he
has to compete against what's his name, Pickett, for the starting job, and if Tomlin finds themselves having wait longer to declare a starter, that's an indictment on Wilson. I think.
Yeah.
From the outside,
but it's a no lose because again, you're only going to be out. You're only going to be out 1.2 million if it doesn't work. I mean, he would have to play god awful, I think, in the preseason in order not to get the nod over Pickett. Exactly. But again, it's a $1.2 million hit at worst. If Kenny can beat him out, then fine. But I think going in, I think he is prohibitive to be the number one QB. I think he needs to be.
But here's the good thing with Pittsburgh taking Russell Wilson now, and I can understand why they couldn't have did it. Let's just say Russell Wilson come in and he gets beat out. With Pittsburgh and some teams will probably need a quarterback at some point in the season. Russell Wilson costs you a vacation. That's it. They can get rid of him for a draft pick or two because he's still a good quarterback. And if he can just, especially if he ain't starting, they don't have no problem moving because Denver's still paying the tab on that. So any team to get Russell Wilson, they're getting him at value price.
Right.
But I believe, just based on, I guess it's just me liking the Pittsburgh, Vasana and Russell. I think that if he go there and they always got a decent offense, if he runs it like old Russell Wilson, they'll be tough because Pittsburgh is going to be tough on defense always because they coaches ahead, defensive coach. But he's tough on the players, and he got high expectations. So I think they'll be all right, even if it's Pickett or Wilson. But you better keep Wilson just in case.
I don't see it with Pickett, but that was under Matt Canada. Maybe he improved under who was it? Arthur Smith now.
Arthur Smith, right? New OC coming in.
So maybe he
and so it's going to be a run first offense. You got your your power back and your speed back, two back offense. You got your tight end. You got again they're going to have to rebuild the receiving core a bit. That's what I'm hoping they get. My man from Cincinnati to come in to be the new slot guy. So they still got some holes they got to plug on offense. But again, very I think it's just for a lot of people it's just a fresh start overall. Arthur Smith, he's trying to prove himself because he just leaving the Falcons, so he's got something to prove also. So I think this is just this year. A lot of people have a lot to prove, and so again, I'm just excited about on both sides of the ball where this team is moving. But they're definitely putting the chips in and clearing a lot of cap space in order to be able to make the kind of moves that they're doing.
All right, so this next player, we're gonna go through these a little bit quicker because we got it's Saquon Barkley. So with Saquon Barkley, me as a Texans fan, they was in a running to get him. It was reported that they was being making some aggressive offers for Barkley, but obviously the Eagles offered more money because I believe they offered him 12. Houston was offering him around 11. So they beat him by $1 million.
Right. And $26 million that's guaranteed.
Yeah, so he's getting his money, which is good for him. He deserves it. He's gonna go. I believe with the Eagles, obviously it's definitely a step up with them, but it's really now looking more at Jalen Hurts. Like, okay, now you have legit weapons all around you. So you need to step up. And it's kind of weird to say because, he definitely didn't have the season he had 2 years ago, but last year was definitely his production was a drop, especially with his interception numbers. So they gave him a legit running back now who should be able to help him out, who can run and catch from the backfield, who has a better offensive line. He's not carrying literally an offense by himself. So it should help out Hurts, it should help out Barkley, it should help out Brown, and it should help out Smith. So they offense should be set. Now it's a defense. Now they got to focus on that defense and fix them old holes that was created over a year ago.
Fletcher Cox retired this year, so they're going to definitely go out.
And Jason Kelsey did too.
Yep. So they're gonna go out the interior lineman. I think when it comes down to Philadelphia, their head coach, he's not the one to lead them. It's not Jalen.
So you not how Sirianni, even though he had a
No,
Super Bowl bid?
he's a scrub. He ain't going there. I'm telling you, he's a head coach. They gonna pick him, but he don't know.
Man, that dude took his team to a Super Bowl one year, and then they made the finals, and you want to get rid of him already after his third season?
What was he, a coordinator or a head coach?
He was a head coach when he went to the Super Bowl.
Who did he go
his
with?
First season, his first season at the Super Bowl.
But he still, he ain't. Listen, he ain't the one to lead him. I'm telling you.
That was year 2. I want to say he went to playoffs. Yeah, it was year 2 because year 1 he made the playoffs. So he had that awkward press conference, and then year 2 they made the moves and he made it to the Super Bowl. Last year they knocked out in the wild card. I feel like this. I'm not as far as you, Trey Bird, but I do feel that he's got some clown to him. He's got some clown to him, and I think you need less of that. Like the most damning clip of that is in the Super Bowl, something happening, and he was acting all demonstrative, and Jalen Hurts had to tell him like chill. And it's like calm down, like chill out, like, and it's like seeing that's one thing. And this is like I'll say he's a solid coach, but it's just like for a place like Philadelphia, they will run you up out of town quick. Their patience is small. You have to do a lot of winning to keep them off your back.
I think Philadelphia gonna be another 12-win team this year in that NFC. They got because they solidified the running back. Now you talking Saquon, he's an all-pro if he's healthy. Everybody know that. And Philadelphia loves to run the ball. They will run the ball. They won't let Jalen Hurts run the ball as much because they got a solidified running back. And if he stays healthy, because he gonna play the Giants and the Cowboys still twice a year, and he gonna be mad at the Giants. So it's gonna be interesting with him over at Philly. It's gonna be interesting. Philadelphia go get some linemen, and they're gonna block for him. Watch what I tell you. They're gonna be 12-win season at least in the NFC.
The only question with Barkley is just health. That's the only thing. It's like with them going for it. That's it. That's the only question. The talent is there.
Well, they got a $200 million man. They got a good running back. They're gonna be all right. Watch what I tell you. The coach, if he mature, I can see him going to the Super Bowl again out of the NFC. It's just my opinion right now. Especially, ain't nobody made no moves. They still messing with my man in Chicago, holding him up and stuff, locking him out of making the move and the money like everybody else is doing. I was
going to get to him when we talked about Kirk Cousins because that was interesting on that one.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, okay.
I see next on the list, we got Derrick Henry, and I want to say that Black Man posted that about Cowboys let him get away, and I think it was one of those deals. I know he just bought a house in Dallas, in the Dallas area, but it was one of those deals. He just hit 30, and that's a tough age for a running back as far as he's had over 2,000 carries. So it's just like, and I think from the Zeke deal and I want to say, and definitely going back to DeMarco Murray, when a back, they felt like, hey, he's got a lot of wear on him. They want to kind of move around and go in a different direction. And so Derrick Henry, for me, he was a running back that did really good on that second contract and was phenomenal. My thing is now he's starting to slow down some. Do you want to be left holding the bag? You paying him the money, and then it's just like, he's not the same guy. I think Baltimore was like a great fit for him because you still got the 2-time MVP there. He's going to draw the eyeball still, at 26 as far as his run threat and, the ability to get the ball to Andrews and get the ball to his other targets. Like, Zay Flowers, his new favorite target. And I think that's a good move for him. Dallas doesn't really make those strong moves in free agency, especially like for the running backs. They're almost certainly going to get a running back in the draft. And I know they were talking about some other smaller running back moves that's not going to excite anyone. But I say I'm happy for Derrick Henry. He got it in a good spot. I'm happy for the backs in general that they got him. They didn't get as much as the franchise tag except for Barkley, because Barkley is one of the superior talents. But the guys are getting paid more than what you would have thought the way they talked about it last offseason. So.
Right. And I think we're seeing kind of the pendulum swift because I know for last few years we were talking about the devaluation of the running back, but just looking at some of these contracts and what these guys are getting, certainly for the league guys, they're still getting some decent compensation out there. So I'm good. I'm glad to see that they're starting to recognize that, especially if you look at the playoffs. The guys who had the superior running, Pacheco, McCaffrey. You look at with the Detroit, the running backs that they had. Unfortunately, why they went away from it in the second half, I'm still scratching my head over that one. But again, it's like, when you talk about December football, January football, it's definitely going to come down to the running back. And I think teams are starting to recognize that you need a bell cow to, especially to call out some of these games.
Hey, man, I'm a running back, man. But the quarterback and the receivers, they the prima donnas when the weather's nice and you got your flip-flops on and your shades on and you cool. When it comes down to nitty-gritty NFL, even in college, high school, if you can run that ball when them fingertips start getting cold before the game, you know what I'm saying, them toes ain't really ready to plant. If you can run the ball, those teams, and mix it up, because by that time you ain't doing no but play action, couple of runs, and your quarterback, if he's on point, then you're going to win the game, man. Everybody got to be clicking come playoff. But the running back, especially the running game late in the season, it balances out your team. It balances them out. They become hard to be predictable as far as offense. It's down in distance when you play football. It's down in distance. That's it.
Well, to me, of course, I guess picking up Henry for the Ravens is a major story. I'm looking at the Ravens. You didn't need them.
That's a good pick.
You didn't need them because they led the league in rushing last year. So yes, I guess he's an upgrade, but it's not like you needed him. So it's like, okay, I'm assuming now, and I was hearing this on First Take this morning, and somebody making a point like, I'm assuming now that you had, because the biggest thing about with Lamar Jackson, what you heard after the loss against the Chiefs, people said he kept trying to spending much time trying to throw from the pocket, trying to throw instead of just basically take what the defense is giving him, running the ball, focus more running the ball. But as far as the regular season, the Baltimore Ravens led the league in rushing. Gus Edwards was doing his thing along with Lamar Jackson, and I forgot the other running back who was tandem with him.
TK Dobbins.
Yeah. So
Dobbins was hurt.
They run. One of them. Their rushing attack was solid. Now, of course, Derrick Henry, he's an upgrade. But it's like, okay, so I'm assuming, I guess you got Derrick Henry in the backfield now. So that's going to remind the OC, okay, run the ball. People not going to, I have no excuses now not to run the ball because I got Derrick Henry. So it's going to magically, during his play calling, stop trying to pass the ball so much and run the ball, even though they led the league in rushing last year. So, I guess if Henry expressed interest to join and you had the money for him to come, congratulations to the Ravens. But I'm looking at it like it wasn't really a position of need because you was always successful at it last year. And I guess it's like, what they say in old school saying, your eyes got too big when you eating. You already eating good on the running game, and I guess you saw something, over there, so you wanted that too. So, it is what it is. What's up?
So, real quick, what do you think? Who do you think was the strongest contributors to the running game?
The tandem of Jackson and Edwards. So
the tandem. So it wasn't necessarily the one running back. So you believe in running back committee and keep it like that?
Well, in today's game, yeah. It's just they happen to have a quarterback who can act as a running back one time, who's more lethal than a running back at times.
But I can see. But think about it. Teams are trying to force Lamar to be a pocket quarterback. They're trying to force him because people say he should pass it. He had almost 70% pass rate. Then they say, oh man, he should run. He's not calling the plays. He's not calling a quarterback sneak. He can't do that. He got to hand it out to the running back. Now, Baltimore, like you said, they had a good tandem. I think with Derrick Henry, even with him being the premier, you still got to get one of them mid-range, fast-ass dudes. You still got to get somebody.
What Mitchell's there for?
Catch him out of the backfield. If you run and catch out of the backfield, you'll be all right.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Go ahead, Dante.
No, I was saying I think they had that, and I saw a few comments in the chat. Andre, so you gave up already on Sirianni? You lost it already? Like, man, y'all hard, man. Y'all hard, man.
If the
I ain't
Cowboys
want
get
to
to the
defend
Super
the
Bowl,
Eagles.
that coach will have a 20-year contract.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think he's, like I said, he got some tendencies he got to fix, and he got to kind of get the relationship with A.J. Brown and kind of get him on track. You can visibly see that. I don't know why players think that sometimes, that, oh, no, everything's like, nah, bro, we can see your body language. We can see something's bothering you. So you're upset. But I'm with you. I'm gonna let you, Alexander. Like, as far as I do think Henry and Washani, that's gonna take the pressure off as far as, hey, look, we got this guy. It's gonna be kind of like, when you have a bigger name, higher paid guy, you're more tended, hey, let's get him the ball. I think Mitchell was gonna be a great change of pace when he came in, and you move away from Dobbins, so you don't have to worry about the injury risk. It's just keeping Derek, keeping him healthy. He's a guy that's probably you're not gonna put in and count very much. Just gonna make sure he's in shape, make sure he's right. Either Gus Edwards did leave, but I felt like he is an upgrade, but I think they got some other things they may want to do, and maybe I say get another dependable receiver. But I think Zay Flowers is definitely, with Beckham Jr. gone, it's like, hey, focus on him being the top guy, focus on Andrews being the top guy, and I think they're gonna be in good shape in Baltimore. It's just, they're one of them teams too. It's like, it's tough to say this. You got to try to enjoy the regular season because it's a gift. It's not promised to make the playoffs. There's only a few teams that are just always going to be there. So I feel like you got to enjoy the regular season and enjoy like the small moments to build up and doing what you couldn't do to win the previous year, or working on your weaknesses to make them a strength. And then that's how you can enjoy the regular season. But I know all the pundits are going to be like, oh, Lamar got to win in the playoffs. It's like, I mean, the guy made a conference championship. He's a 2-time MVP. Like, I think his part is fine. I think the passing game is good enough. He just, when it's time, you can't have stuff like the receiver fumbling out of bounds. You got to have they had all the running backs get hurt except for Edwards. You brought in Henry. You keep him healthy. You get Mitchell. The line is a pretty good offensive line. I want to say who got hurt at the end of the year? Andrews. Andrews got hurt at the end of the year. I think Baltimore's in a good position, and they always draft pretty solidly. So I'm with you, Trey, for make some good draft picks, and I think they'll be right back in the hunt. And who said it in the chat? The NFC North is that division is tough. I forgot whoever said it. I forgot that Watson is coming back, and Watson's going to come back, and they got that defense over there.
Have to prove he could still make an impact in the game, because even when the games he's playing, he's not the same Watson, and maybe
he's not
consistent on the field. So I got to wait till he can stay on the field and show what he can do on the field. Because right now, he be looking like that contract that he's receiving now from Cleveland is not paying off. It's not paying off. So
it's paying off for him.
But
yeah, it's paying off for him.
I know it's not covered. So I'll just throw this in real quick. They did a very important, sneaky good move. To keep the noise off of Watson, they signed Jameis Winston. And you just look it up. Look up anytime you have a black starting quarterback. If you have a white backup, you're going to get a part of your fan base that is going to rise up and be like, why don't we give him a shot? And by getting a black backup, you do neutralize that. And I want to say, Monty Jones hit me today years ago, and I was like, hey, why? Like, Jacksonville had a string of black backups. If you do that, you keep that solid. Vic had to run into that. Wasn't Schwab his backup? And so you have to do that. Cam Newton ran into that with Derek Anderson. Like, Derek Anderson, are we kidding me? And I know with Flacco coming in and doing what he did, if they brought Flacco back, it was going to be a long season. Like you said, Shani, he's still going to take some time to knock
Flacco with the Colts now.
Yeah, he's still worried about what the running game is going to be, though, because I don't know, Nick Chubb, what kind of health is he going to be able to make a comeback?
They're going to need some running backs over in Cleveland for sure.
Chubb got hurt really early in the season, so I haven't heard anything about his progress.
That was an nasty. I think it was ACL and MCL. I think,
his legs are the most important thing he needs as a running back.
Yeah, I would say they should definitely pick somebody up that's a little bit more high value. I know they've made it
they already got
Ford.
Ford is
Ford, but you still want to get another insurance policy just in case, because
right. But it's not.
I would say he probably might start off on PUP, because I did forget he smoked both of those. So I think that's like a situation he starts on PUP, but
it's not a deep running back class this year also. So I don't think you don't have to be a high draft pick, but I don't think the running back class is not that deep this year.
Shoot, the top class is quarterbacks, linemen, and receivers. Those are the top
linemen. There's a ton. as there's a ton. So for those teams that have problems protecting the quarterback, this is a draft that you hope it falls to you. The only thing is, I'm a proponent of don't go into the draft. That's why I hate when teams just focus on it. You don't want to go in there and just like, hey, we got to have this position, and then you reaching for a guy. You never want to reach for those guys, and it's like, hey, that's a need, and it's like, come on, man. Your scouts made a board for like 6 months, and you're just gonna disrespect them because we need this guy. You got to be careful with that. But I see you got next on the list.
Yeah. So this next name on the list.
Oh man.
When it happened, it caused quite some reaction. What I was hearing on sports radio, and that's Kirk Cousins signing this 4-year. I was just looking at 4-year 180.
Yeah, 180.
4-year
180, 100 guaranteed deal with the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
And you with the Falcons, there was names considered with Justin Fields. People was throwing him, hey, he could be a potential QB that they could get traded down there. But it's interesting to see what the market is telling the Bears what they think about Fields right now. Mm-hmm. Or it depends, maybe the asking price that the Bears are asking for Fields is just way too high. But with Cousins, many people, the main thing I kept hearing about was Cousins' lack of playoff success. If outside of that, the Falcons haven't had a winning season since 2017, let alone make it to the playoffs.
Right.
Cousins, he performs in the regular season, so you have to make it to the playoffs before people can really start talking and worrying about playoff production. Cousins has shown, if you compare his numbers, he's like within just his production and numbers alone, he can possibly be like a top 8 quarterback just on numbers alone before, not until you get to the whole debate on that, but he's arguably a top 8 quarterback.
Right.
So if anything, he by far is going to be able to produce more than anything what the Falcons had nearly almost a decade worth of quarterback play. So it's like I guess a lot of people compare his contract. Again, give major props to his agent. This dude, by the time he can retire, he may have close to $500 million of just guaranteed money.
It's said like if you take the 100 into comparison into, I think it's going to be in the 400 million mark as far as career contract made.
What the hell he talking about?
Dangerous to themselves. They don't know where to go. They may foul this whole thing up before it's all said and done. So.
Man, I don't even like what the Bears are doing to old Justin, man.
The Bears are getting rid of somebody nobody wants.
He's gonna get locked out. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, the thing is, they didn't make the move before the combine. We talked about that last week. They didn't make that move, and then the teams liked the quarterbacks. They like the quarterbacks at the combine. So you like the quarterbacks at the combine. You don't have to give up a draft pick. You just have to use your draft pick to get one of those quarterbacks. It's at least 4 they said are going in the first round. Then of course as many as 6 as I heard. So it's like, yeah, you're looking at those guys like that. I can see them getting dealt on draft day. If it's gone this late, I can see them going on draft day. But you got to look at it. Who's left that needs a quarterback? Because Atlanta's off the board with the Kirk Cousins deal. The Raiders are still looking.
That's a bad deal for Atlanta. That's a bad deal. I'm telling you. We looking at Kirk Cousins like he's been that man, and we tripping.
All right, right.
You know, if Dak Prescott could get his money, he's way better than Kirk Cousins, man. What are y'all
let's keep it to Fields. Let's keep it to Fields, and let's keep it 100 with Fields. We are going off a projection for what we saw at Ohio State. What we've seen at the NFL level, it's like there's potential, but it's like we're not just gonna act like Kirk can't get a team to the playoffs. Justin has never shown that. A quarterback wins are not a stat, but the level of play has not been, hey, this is good pedigree and enough ability that he can get a team to the playoffs. So can I fault Atlanta for that? No. Would I have spent that for Kirk? No. I would have said, hey, let me go with the young guy and kind of fortify my roster with that first round pick and keep building that way. That's what I would have preferred to do. Can I blame it? Can I, better yet, Raheem Morrison, we talk about black coach all the time. Can I blame him for saying, hey, look, I'm already a defensive coach, strike against me. Black head coach, 2 strikes against me. Should I go out and get a young quarterback? And then I'm at this job a year and a half and I'm fired. Or do I go get Kirk?
So here's my pushback with it, Kirk Cousins. Here's my understanding and my pushback. My understanding is Atlanta has one of the best young teams. Bringing in another young quarterback could be risky. But here's the upside to him going to Atlanta for me on the personal side. He's from Atlanta. His father's there. He's going to be all right in Atlanta. So I can understand that. But Kirk Cousins, he's a veteran. See, Raheem Morris, he ain't got time to be grooming no quarterbacks. He ain't going to say nothing to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins going to be able to do what he wants. He's the money man. He's going to be focusing on the defense, which really the Atlanta's offense, if you look at their skill positions, you can see that they're one of the best in the league.
And that's why I'm with you, Trey. I wanted Justin to go there for that. I'm just looking at it from the other perspective. I wanted it so bad.
But from a team point of view, yeah. But Kirk Cousins, is he worth $100 million? Is yet to see. He ain't won a Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, he ain't won a Super Bowl. Who's better? Who's only won a Super Bowl in the last 7 years, 6 years? Tom Brady, fucking Patrick Mahomes. That's it. I mean, the Stafford. That's it. So, and Kirk Cousins, he ain't really that man. He's him or Purdy. Which one do y'all choose? Him or Purdy?
Kirk.
Okay, then. See, Kirk Cousins.
That's what I mean.
I mean, is he better than
I choose Kirk because Purdy. You got to see how, because he's benefiting off an incredible offensive system in San Fran. So you got to see how he performs outside of that. You know, I think Purdy's just in a situation, dude. You found something that's clicked for you. Don't leave that. Try to stay there as long as you can. You know, and that's hard for because you can say that about any quarterback. A lot of people think quarterbacks can just be moved anywhere and have success. Hell, you move Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs, you probably not gonna get the same Patrick Mahomes because him and Andy Reid click. So if you find a place that it's working, don't go nowhere. Stay as long as you can right there because not anybody can just sit here and move all willy-nilly. Hell, you saw Russell Wilson. He was on a Hall of Fame projection with Seattle. And you can say what he wanted by his perks and whatnot when he got to Denver, but as soon as he came to Denver, it just fell off. It just fell off. So yeah, that's the half the battle. You got to find a team that clicks with you. Purdy found one with San Fran, so don't go nowhere. Stay right there with Shanahan. Now with Cousins, remains to be seen. You know, he may be because his best days was with Minnesota, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he with Atlanta. You know,
but that division is susceptible.
Yeah,
that division.
Yeah, when you look at Atlanta, man, the team that made it to the playoffs was 9-7. Well, 9-7. No, what was their record? 9-8. What was Tampa Bay record? Because not 9-7 on the more. That's only.
I think it was 9. I think it was 9-8. 9-8. They were. I think
Atlanta finished 2 games behind that. They only won 7 games. Right. So it's like this team, like I mentioned earlier, they haven't made the playoffs in 2017. So they're looking for a more proven product. Justin Fields, and they not in a situation to go by, potential. And then there's nobody else out there that was available. It was really between Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson. Trying to look for, production. Wilson, only thing about him right now, he's just incredibly cheap. That was his thing. So by option two, one was incredibly cheap. The one ended up being incredibly expensive. So it is what it is with them. But it was just when that deal was made for Cousins, it by far sparked the most reaction during this whole free agent frenzy.
Yeah,
people was like, they had like Trey. How the hell this dude getting this much money? I'm thinking, man, much props to this contract. This agent look like Dak was taking notes because Dak's in the same boat.
And they take advantage of the fact that, hey, I'm a quarterback, supply and demand. If you think you can find better, somebody else will pay me. And that's another team. And that is another team that we didn't talk about. I know it's about trade within division, but the Vikings do have a need at quarterback. But and another team that has a need at quarterback, but I give them their props. They made a damn good move. The next player you got on the list, Johnny, that Brian Burrs trade was man.
He definitely got his money with the Giants.
He got his
You
money.
know, and he was
The Panthers
tackle
got
leader
what they
for the
needed.
Panthers.
They need some picks. The only thing that I have to say about this now is their front office got some explaining to do. So if y'all don't remember
Yeah.
where we said last offseason when they traded up and took Bryce, it was picks and the player was either Brian Burns or DJ Moore. And now a year later, they are both gone. They're both gone. I don't, man. Look, Bryce, I pray for Bryce. Everybody just pray for Bryce. Because
You
I
know
mean,
what? The
Well, he
Panthers
got
are
Deontay
reminding
Johnson to
me.
throw to now, so that should
he
help him out
does.
in the offensive
That's gonna
side.
help.
Yeah,
It's gonna help.
It depends. Deontay has to be, he has to come show up every game, though, man. Sometimes,
True, yeah, he has some diva
he's going to
tendencies.
a worse decision woes with the Steelers. So if the
Yeah.
Panthers struggle, that may affect his production on the field because he up and down with that. But they started to remind me because, like you were saying, the Panthers front office. They too involved and they doing too much over there and it's affecting the play, the product on the field. They was reminding me what the Texans was before.
Yep, and the head guys too. He's
Yeah,
making
and
that
it's the
revolving door.
owners.
You know,
It's the
the
owners.
owner not making it feel comfortable. Tepper what I'll say this one. He's gotta keep this coach for at least 3 years to make sure he builds the talent base up to the team, makes it show so where other coaches can see, hey, this guy mismanaged this talent. If I go and interview for this job, I'm not going into a firestorm. And I
Yeah.
think that's the one thing.
It reminds me just like the
Think
Texans.
what's going on, brother?
I saw your comments all about
Yeah.
Y'all so goddamn disrespectful. I'm sick of this.
I mean, just
People,
come to terms, man. Come to terms. You're not trading Fields. You're probably going to trade your first rounder and just get a ton of draft picks out of it. That's my prediction. You're not getting rid of Fields.
That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
So
you're going to trade out.
I find it funny that people keep saying, "Yeah, y'all made a mistake by holding on to Fields and waiting this long in the situation." Oh man, they automatically should draft Caleb. Why?
Exactly.
Why should we draft a guy who has no leadership skills, whose stats are inflated because of the offensive coordinator and the head coach? Why should we do that? He's questionable about how he carries himself inside the locker room and outside the locker room. His demands. Why would you want a trouble who hasn't played an NFL snap yet?
I say I have answered that, Inc, because Fields, next year will be year 4 for him, and he's literally still a project. We still don't know what he do, and I don't know if many people are giving Fields the benefit of the doubt because they putting majority of the blame on the Bears and the development of him because his offensive coordinator's been changing and all that. So they giving Fields more the benefit of the doubt. Me myself, I think if Fields go to another organization that has proven more stable with their coaching staff, he will flourish. It's just because he almost seemed to be behind, just unfair and disadvantage with the Bears so far. But with that aside, the Bears and their recent draft moves where they missed out on Patrick Mahomes trying to get Mitchell Trubisky and all that, moving up, that didn't work. Last year, they missed out on both Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. So all these where they had the opportunities to pick these young quarterbacks, and then it literally backfired on them. They find themselves in the same situation again, and they don't want to do. We don't want to make this mistake again because they worry about if they pass up this. It's basically you keep Fields and somehow he don't work and Caleb Williams go to another squad and produce. It's a fireable offense. You can explain if you pick up Williams and he doesn't work. That's hey, we had a number 1 overall pick. We made the decision to go with Caleb Williams. That give you a little bit more life, but skipping Caleb Williams and then all of a sudden you still struggling so far like it has been with Fields. Oh hell, head coach, GM, they gone.
So do we realize when the last number 1 overall pick as a quarterback has been successful? We realize how long we got to go far back with that?
LaMarcus Russell.
No. I said successful.
I guess Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
No.
So like Cam Newton?
No.
Successful. Peyton
Went to a
Manning.
Super Bowl.
And Andrew Luck was successful though.
He retired early.
He retired early. That's the
Because that's the coach's fault. They was getting that man beat up every year.
I'll say this: not only did he retire early, when Cam Newton was drafted that year, they were saying teams were wishing that Andrew Luck would have came out because he would have been the number one pick. When you go back and look at it, he accomplished more than Andrew Luck, but Andrew Luck had the fanfare in the storybook, but it didn't have the storybook ending. I felt like we inflate him just a little bit, and so I'm with you there, Kick. If you said that, but also going back to the number one pick to like want to take his team to a Super Bowl, you're 100% correct. That's the last
KP
one.
Just brought up Joe Burrow.
But we got look again. We got to say what do we consider
injury
Joe
prone?
Burrow's still writing. He's still writing his story. Let's look at it. Joe Burrow's still trying to write his story. Is it successful? No, how? He's missing more games played.
Yeah.
So I would that success. Andrew Luck retired early. Cam Newton never got the opportunity to win the Super Bowl. He played in it, but he never won it. And then he went from team to team to team, and then he just fizzed out ever since. Really early in his career, I thought he had some more years left, but he hasn't. Somebody said Trevor Lawrence hasn't lived up to his potential.
Whoa, nothing. No, that's not there yet.
Even Mac Jones. Mac Jones, they traded him. They just traded Mac Jones, and he came in as a starter, like to be the man.
So with Fields, we got Fields at the 12th. I think it's 11th or 12th pick of the draft.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
I think we did the man to deserve. So in his fourth season, he's going to have his third offensive coordinator. Remember, his first year, he was supposed to be playing. It was Andy Dalton supposed to be the starter. Andy Dalton got hurt in the preseason. So now he's forced to go in there. That was supposed to be his redshirt year. He wasn't supposed to play at all. His second year, they sold everybody off. We had a fire sale to get rid of everybody to fix the salary cap. His second year, they did that to him.
Yeah.
So now we go into this third year, but you expect this man to do all that? And he only had one offensive threat, DJ Moore. Nobody else. Mooney's terrible.
No lineman or nothing.
We got a decent tight end. Our defense, we had to get that together. So we relied on rookies and Eddie Jackson's terrible to me, but thank God we got Montez Sweat in the trade to help our defensive line. So now our defense played good once we got the free agents we got. Like we got a linebacker last year. No, let me take that back. We got two linebackers traded for Ian. So now we're a lot better on the defense. That helps. When you got a good defense, that helps your quarterback.
Signed back Jalen Johnson.
Situations. Yes, we re-signed him. So you doing little things like that. Now we had the worst offensive line. We had the worst offensive line. To stand behind her and find, he's gonna be looking down the field, or he's not gonna be looking.
You're selling me. You're selling me. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So hey, guys, I'm
okay with Fields. I'm okay.
Let me ask you this, Hank. So basically, the main thing about Fields so far in his career has been inconsistency with the coaching staff.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest part, Charlie.
Yeah. So okay. So if the Bears decide to hold on to Fields,
yes,
and because really right now, all we have is damn near hope that Fields can produce. Because right now he hasn't really shown that yet. It looked like he was heading that way in year 2, and then all of a sudden last year he plateaued. So it's like, okay, we hoping that we believe that Fields can, but based on the same organizations who so far has kind of been letting him down, he pretty much using that same formula for Fields. Okay,
but
Caleb Williams.
Are we hoping?
But Caleb Williams go to another team, and this team may have a little bit more stability. And if he happens to start producing, especially he produced in year 1, and Fields is still kind of going through the same thing he's been going through, oh hell, you're gonna hear the same thing when they traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky, the same thing when they traded their picks, and all of a sudden they missed. The jury's still out on Young, but C.J. Stroud, they missed out on him. So then you're gonna do it a third time? Oh hell, man, I don't.
Chicago ain't never been good in the draft, man. They ain't never been good in the draft. They never addressed linemen.
Like to me, Fields in a no-win situation.
But the organization, and this is what I'm saying, the organization does not pay its players. every player that's come up in the contract, besides Jay Cutler, was the last player they gave $100 million to. They ain't never did that since. Ever since they let Lovie Smith go, they ain't had to win a season.
Well, they haven't had no quarterback to show he's worth $100 million.
But what I'm saying is, they don't want to play. They don't want to pay the player. Now they can draft Caleb.
We lost to Philadelphia. We went to the playoffs like about.
Went to the playoffs. Yeah, but what I'm saying is they ain't really had no consideration. Come on, man, think about it. You a quarterback, especially a rookie. You done had 3 offensive coordinators in your first 3-4 years. That shit don't even make sense.
And that's what I'm saying. That y'all won't feel to stay in that organization when it's unstable like that. With the coaching staff, you setting him up for failure.
The organization is locking him out of the league. I'm telling you.
I think if we keep him, he's gonna be fine. We was in 3 games. We went 7-9. That's where we went. We was in a lot of games. It wasn't like we was getting blown out in a lot of these games. We wasn't getting blown out. We was competing.
Man, give us Justin Fields, man.
Even with the situation. See, everybody wants him, but then y'all talk so bad.
We got a high 5th rounder for you right now.
Like I said, I believe
rounder. Oh,
we got a high 5th rounder in the corn dog.
No, you got to give up first rounds, baby.
Trey Ferg, you look like you fresh off obituary, dog.
Man, you said in the comment, I lost track, bro.
I looked I said, damn, is this a memorial of Trey Ferg?
Well, since we got Tommy on the chat, that's a perfect segue to the next free agent highlight we had, and that's Josh Jacobs. And I definitely, when I saw that move, that dude going to Green Bay, Tommy was the first person I thought of when they lost, because he was so adamant last week about trying to pay this man, and then somebody else paid that man. So Tommy, the floor is yours.
Listen, man, I was tight, and then the Lord came down and released Jimmy Garoppolo. Matter of fact, there you go, right there. That's all you. Just go. Hey, we got a 5th rounder. You go ahead and sign Jimmy. Boom. It sounds like a fair exchange to me.
We don't need.
But now I'm tight. We lost Renfro though. Renfro, that man, we fuck with Renfro heavy.
He's a good receiver.
Nah, they did pick up a huge one. Which I should have put his name up here too.
Yeah, Christian Will. Yeah, you know,
that
was a monster.
That was a monster.
That guy. Oh yeah, no big deal. You know.
Him and Max Crosby, that's a problem.
They paying him a whole lot though. They paying him.
Don't let Tyree Wilson get it.
I forgot about him. Yeah.
It might be ugly. Mr. Benny, y'all got to come see us this year, Mr. Benny, and I'm going to the game.
All right. Wait a minute.
So I got a scenario for you.
So you going to Vegas again?
Yes, sir. We got the AFC North this year. Y'all got the AFC West.
Well,
so we playing everybody.
That's interesting. Yeah, last year we came to Vegas. So
I'm not looking forward to playing Baltimore though. God damn, they gonna throw the ball about 2 times a game. Shit.
They can't really throw that well. That's why.
No, they ain't gonna need to throw that well. That's why.
Tommy, so what's the plan? If you're not gonna give a high pick for Fields, then what are you guys doing?
Oh, they trying to trade up to get Jaden Daniels. So I don't know. A lot of people don't know that AP coached Jaden Daniels when he was a young pup. I believe him and Jack Jones. He coached both of them. So he already got a relationship with Jaden Daniels. So they trying to move up to try to get him.
You're the second greatest fans I heard say that about Jaden Daniels.
Pierce helped recruit Daniels to Arizona State when Herm Edwards was there. So that's when they had that relationship in common before Daniels went on to LSU. But they connected with each other at Arizona State. So, but I just Tommy made perfect timing when he came, because I definitely wanted to hear his thoughts on the whole Josh Jacobs thing.
Right.
Yeah, man. I just that one hurt. That one stung. But we still got Zamir White. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of one of them. He wrote a post which I'm with, because it almost touched the Tiki Barber situation with him coming at Saquon, and what he said was everybody always want to come at the players about loyalty, but nobody talks about the franchises and their loyalty. Never. And that's a real thing. And I've said that before too. They coming at Saquon because he went to the Eagles. Well, first of all, This is a rivalry between your team, not me personally.
Yeah.
That's first of all. Second of all, you decide to pay this bum ass quarterback instead of me. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? So ride his coattails, and I'm gonna be over here doing my business. You know, so yeah, it's business. You know, it looks like the running backs finally got paid this year. I mean, they didn't get no astronomical numbers, but you know, they got some contracts. But I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to pick up somebody in the draft too. But we got Zamir back there. He did pretty well replacing Jacobs last year when he was hurt. And I guess we'll see where we go from there. I mean, that's a big one. I mean, he had some injuries last year, but when he good, he definitely one of the best. You know, so him with Jordan Love, that's gonna be nasty. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's gonna be a nasty combination.
Now, Tommy B, here's a proposition. They can get a nice little quarterback in the first round. T. Higgins is a free agent. Draft him over with what's the receiver's
Oh, you
name?
talking about with
Adams.
Yeah,
Put him over
Devontae.
with Adams. That'd be a hell of a combo right there with a nice quarterback.
We already got
Higgins on the franchise tag.
What's my guy we got from the Patriots? God damn, I can't think of his name. But he did pretty good last year on the other side of Devontae. So I don't think they really that pressed about a receiver. I mean, I would definitely take T. Higgins though. But yeah, him and Jacoby Myers did pretty good last year. Especially seeing that, you know, not to knock AOC, he did the best that he could, but seeing that we had, you know, a rookie quarterback back there, they did pretty good. So we got we just picked up Gardner Minshew for basically next to nothing, 2 years, $25 million. I don't think they picking him up to be a franchise quarterback, but I think it'll be a good bridge to, you know, the future. He was decent last year. I mean, I ain't gonna sit there and try and put extras on him because he's a Raider now. I mean, he was decent. He what do they call it? He was serviceable. So
I think he was a little bit more than serviceable.
He was a warm body. He was a warm body. That's what.
Well, I mean, but you got to be real though. I mean, who the fuck did he have on Indianapolis to even throw to? So I mean, you kind of got to look at it that way too. Like it ain't like he was.
He's worth more than the running backs.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, I think he missed half of the season, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know with this whole free agent frenzy, I know I listed on here, well, lack of free agent activity with the Cowboys. But I saved them.
He sound pissed off about that.
You can't extinct Texans.
I'm not really pissed off. I'm not really surprised. But I'll say.
No, matter of fact, they just signed.
I saw something right before the show.
Yeah, he's about to sign with the Niners.
They signed it. They signed it like I literally was catching up on that right before we got. That's why I came in late.
I got a notification right when I was trying to fill out this whole schedule thing. But I saved Cowboy stuff for my final thoughts and stuff. But one thing I definitely wanted to get to during the show, Mr. Bennett, was your boxing, because we had some news in boxing this past weekend. You know, both in action and I'll let you talk about this other thing. This
Yeah. I mean, boxing is unfortunately in so many instances, there's so many fights to be made, but it's almost like it's a circus out there. I mean, you had Joshua Ngannou. I mean, I think he took Tyson.
Don't do that.
He took Tyson.
Don't do that, Bobby.
I know Blanco ain't talking, nigga. I know Blanco ain't talking. After your team just got stripped, hey.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, certainly everybody got happy because Ngannou he had a serviceable performance against Tyson Fury. I don't know if he's necessarily focused on the fight. He did enough to eke out the victory, and everyone is hyping up him to be competitive against AJ because AJ doesn't have a chin. But the bottom line is he got in there with him, got taken out in 2 rounds, he got knocked out. I mean, like 15 minutes, the guy was out of there. And it's just something that, again, you know, I'm just not a fan of these contests because, again, you can't compare MMA guys. MMA striking is not the same as boxing, right? You talk about guys who have been boxing since they were kids. They developed the skill set, but striking MMA striking is a totally different. It's like cricket and baseball, right? I mean, baseball came from cricket. You can look at cricket that has a lot of similar moves to baseball. It's similar, but they're not the same sports. So you keep feeding these MMA guys up to these boxers who've been boxing for a minute, they're going to get knocked out. mean, even the Paul brothers are knocking out all these MMA guys, Anderson Silva and all these MMA guys going and fighting the Paul brothers and getting knocked out cold in these fights and whatnot. So again, I'm not a fan of it, and hopefully we'll see few of these contests again. But stay in your lane. If you're an MMA guy, same thing. If a boxer goes into an MMA ring, more than likely they're going to get hurt. So again, I don't think we need these cross sports or whatever. And I know you had go back to Ali fighting, Antonio Inoki and Gorilla Monsoon back in the 60s and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's entertainment as long as you're winking at each other saying we ain't going to do anything to hurt each other. But if you're going to talk about landing serious blows from heavyweights, it's going to be a problem. And then the fight that's coming up with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, again, not a fan of it. Tyson's going to be 58 years old by the time this fight happens. And yes, everybody's like okay, Fabi. Everyone's falling in love with Mike Tyson. Yeah, he can still hit the speed mitts and the speed bag or whatever, but let him do that over a 3-minute round. By the second round, he's going to be exhausted, and he's going to be subject to get hurt by Paul if he doesn't knock him out by then. So again, but the Paul brothers, I'll give them their props in terms of their business acumen. They've been able to garner their success not only in boxing but also in WWE. Certainly they made it. They've definitely made an enterprise just being YouTube and Instagram guys, and they made a name for themselves. But I think it's bad for the sport because you got guys in there who got no business there fighting. When that basketball player fought Paul Buzz got knocked out, the slam dunk champion,
Nate Robinson.
Yeah, I mean this isn't play.
It's embarrassment.
I mean, you talk about some serious lifetime hurt. The head is not meant to be hit. And so, putting these fights together like this, I'm just not a fan of it. But no question, Tyson and Paul is going to do massive numbers. I will not be watching it. I may watch highlights, whatever, but I'm not buying a pay-per-view or whatever for it because I just think that boxing needs more. There's plenty of talent out there that needs to be fighting, and I think we need to to get to that. But again, these exhibition style fights where you got guys going in there who have no business being in there. Again, I'm just not a fan of it. There's, AJ would have, had no business being in there with Ngannou. And now everyone's hyped up. Now they think, okay, AJ, he's back. I mean, the last 3 guys he's fought have been basically stiffs. And now everyone thinking, oh, he's the best guy at the heavyweight division. He'll knock out Fury, whatever, or Usyk or whatever. And again, I don't think he's ready for that either. So these have just been 3. He's had his last 3 fights, essentially 4 fights have been against guys who don't even deserve to be in the top 10. And now we want to make AJ like he's the man in the sport of boxing. So I think we need to get past that.
Mr. Bennett, I feel you on what you're saying about these crossover fights on it, but I think the biggest thing that I'm noticing these MMA dudes, because it's not going to go the other way. You ain't gonna see no boxing going into the MMA world.
Correct.
But I don't see why they should, because the other way, these MMA dudes are getting paid huge money. More than so, I'm like, hell, they just
that's part of
knocked out for
the
20
problem.
million plus.
Yeah, but that's part of the problem because again, Dana White and these MMA guys, they're not making a ton of money. Dana, people like MMA because he's the matchmaker. You don't have a bunch of promoters and a bunch of other companies and whatnot. He says, look, you're gonna fight him, and y'all gonna get in the ring. But most of these guys, they don't make more than like $250,000 a year or $250,000 per fight. So so it's hard to turn out boxing when they're gonna give you $5-10 million to fight, a name in the ring. So that's a problem also. So for all these guys who are fans of MMA, Dana White doesn't pay them, and you guys get off on watching it. But again, put these guys in the boxing ring. These guys are going to get hurt, and I just don't like seeing that.
Yeah, and think about it, man. We all in our 50s, man. Mike Tyson a little too old for that, man. This is low hanging fruit for entertainment. For
real, he getting paid $50 million.
Bruce Lee said. Yeah. Hang on. Bruce Lee said in Enter the Dragon, boards don't hit back. Like I said, I don't care. You can look fly. Look, I can get on a speed bag and look pretty good. I got a speed bag in my basement. All right. But again, hitting the bag and speed drills and time stuff when the punches are going to be coming at you. Again, it's not real. Pads don't hit back. Boards don't hit back. When you got to get in there for a 3-minute round against an opponent, that stuff will wear you out. So again, he may look good for the first 30 seconds to a minute of the fight. You're gonna be huffing and puffing by round 2. So again, it's not this isn't a game, man. But They're selling it. The boxing is, and with the Pauls, they sell it like it's WWE. So again, it's a perception of something, but it's not really real.
Yes.
I could just
Yeah,
see
I'm
Mike
with
to
you.
get.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Mr. Bennett. Like I'm saying, I try to get into boxing. I try to watch some fights. I'd rather pay a pay-per-view for like some actual fighters I value and I want to follow than paying for this. Because I don't like the Paul brothers. I understand the business, but I don't like them. They're not likable. That's part of their shtick. I would love for Mike to get knocked out, but I also don't want to see one of the legends that I grew up. I don't want to see him get knocked out. I don't want to see him look bad.
Look,
I can't watch that. I
If
can't watch that,
Tyson knocks
man.
out Paul in less than 2 rounds, legitimate. So this isn't supposed to be a sparring sort of thing or exhibition. If they're trading real punches and Tyson knocks him out, that should put an end to the Paul brothers. Because again, the guy only fought one real fighter. I mean, a professional boxer, and he lost to him. That was one of the Fury. I think Fury's nephew or something like that. He fought him and he lost. So again, these guys are selling themselves like, yeah, they're taking on all these challenges and whatnot. But if you can't beat a 58-year-old Mike Tyson, then that should tell you right there, you're not legitimate. These guys could not beat top amateurs. So you talk about Golden Glove state champions, they couldn't beat them. That's how bad this is. But again, the illusion is that, okay, well, you think they're fighting somebody, but you fighting basketball players, you fighting 40-year-old Anderson Silva, who had no business being in there, Askren, all these MMA guys who have no business being in there. And again, if Mike Tyson knocks you out, that should hopefully put to bed. That's the only thing I'm wishing for. Mike Tyson knocks him cold, and we can put an end to the Paul brothers and all this, this spectacle that they're trying to do with boxing. This is not for the weak. And
quick note. I will mention, I know they say we used to be a boxer before he got into MMA first. So he started boxing first, then got into MMA, and then went back into boxing. Just to let you guys know. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Right. Hey, Mr. Bennett.
Yo.
Since we got this Joshua fight out of the way, and we got this what is that? I forget. I don't even like the champion. What's his name, man? Fury. Fury fighting in May. So, do you think they're going to fight by the end of the year, somewhere around Christmas time, or early next year?
I think so. I think they'll get it. I think they'll get it on. But really, I hope Fury loses. I don't expect him to lose to Usyk because I think Fury, he plays too many games. He wants to push off the inevitable. I think if they do fight, I think it's a 50-50 in terms of who wins it, and he'll try to stretch it out as long as he as long as he can. So Usyk, even though he's beat AJ twice already, I think that might be the fight that should happen. But I would like to see a guy like guy just fought on the undercard of the Ngannou fight from New performances. But I think the thing that with Fury is he'll drag it out. He says, "Oh, I don't feel like fighting." He'll want these terms that are just unreasonable for the fight just to delay and just cause a spectacle of stuff. So really, getting Fury out of boxing, I think would be a benefit for boxing because he is not.
You broke up, Brother Bennett, at the end.
Working out.
Credit. At least he wants to be in the fights. But Fury, you never know what.
Yeah, like the
It seemed like he's
hate on Mr. Bennett.
Yeah, it seemed like they hate.
What's up,
Back.
KP?
Yeah, I'm
what's
back.
up,
Yeah.
fellas?
I don't know
What's
how
up,
much
fellas?
you guys missed, but yeah,
Going
I
on.
think if Fury's out of boxing, that would be a benefit also because I think if he beats Usyk, then it may not happen this year or it may not even happen next year because again, I think Fury he'll do everything to delay the fight because that's what he's been doing as of late.
What's up, KP? You had something on the boxing, or you had something about the
Yeah, I
free
just wanted to say something on the boxing, man. Just follow the money, man. My grandpa told me a long time ago. Jake Paul is the money, guys. I mean, it's fascinating to believe Tyson is 88 Tyson. But, bro, I'm 40. My son is 20. I can't do what he can do no more, bro. It just is what it is, bro.
Right.
I understand we seen Mike Tyson knock guys out, but that was in 88 and 89 and 90, bro.
True.
This is 2023, 2024. They put him with Jake Paul for a reason. He signed a contract with Jake Paul for a reason on a T-shirt, bro. Like, y'all really believe this is real? This is WWE. This is predetermined.
And
that's why I can't rock with it.
Then what do you think the outcome is going to be?
Yeah, who you think wins?
It's either going to be a draw or Jake Paul's going to win. That's it.
I think it's going to be similar to like the Mayweather Paul fight, where they just extend it. It just extended. You know, I don't know how intense they're going to come out.
Hey guys, we know for a fact if Mike Tyson threw a real punch at Roy Jones, he would have been gone, right?
Yes.
In that fight, we watched it. We watched Roy Jones almost die against Glenn Johnson 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Very true.
We gotta stop playing with ourselves.
And I think
which is all the more reason why even buy it. That's the thing. I mean, I think that
Mr. Bennett, our kids and stuff is gonna buy it. My daughters know Jake Paul, bro. I don't care about Jake Paul, man. You don't care about Jake Paul. Huge. Our YouTube kids know about him, bro.
I mean, hell, the fight is being held on Netflix instead of a PPV, and like I say, Tyson is getting $50 million. I can imagine what Paul is getting. So it's just their influence, their social media influence.
They getting $50 million?
Tyson is.
So you
can imagine what Paul is getting.
They will be fighting with him.
I give the guys credit. I acknowledge their business acumen and how they parlay that into this model. I give them all the credit in the world business wise. But as somebody who appreciates the art of boxing and the art of sports, I just don't appreciate it. But yeah, look, I give them the props.
Mockery of the sport.
They did it by Pipers.
I mean, that's what boxing has become now, guys. I mean, I'm 40, bro, and like we beg for fights that we should get.
Yeah.
Tank versus Haney should happen. Shakur versus Haney, all those fights should already happen. These fights are not going to happen, so Jake Paul sucks all the money out the sport because he's a YouTube sensation. Everybody has YouTube on their phone, but mainstream boxers don't use it to promote themselves, but they cry about being their own promoters and they don't promote.
That's a good way of looking at it. So you're saying that they should use social media to promote themselves? I think it'll make
it's free for them, Trey Ferg.
I got you. Yeah, I'm with you, man. That's a great idea.
Trey Ferg, if they promoted themselves, they wouldn't come back 10 years from now complaining about what Bob or Don King stole from them.
Yeah, go watch some Jake Paul YouTube videos. Learn how to do it, and you go do it.
Yeah, like I said, someone they can offer a course, $100,000 a course. They can teach these guys how to make some money, man. I mean, absolutely. I mean that if they did that, I think they'd be certainly doing a better service than with the product that they're putting out there. So I would agree. I would agree with that.
Well, let's. We don't know how much time, but I guess I'm assuming.
But why don't we skip down, since we kind of led with this a little bit? Why don't we skip down to, since we're short in the show again? What should the Bears do with Justin Fields, or what should they do with that draft pick? So should you guys just trade out and just draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at wide receiver, so he'll have a target to throw to, or and get some hogs on the O line and just call it a day? So what do you think the Bears should do at this point?
Well, we know how bad the Washington Commanders wants Caleb Williams, so we would trade to them, and they would give us they give us their first. We'll exchange first picks. We'll take their second round pick, which is either the 36 or the 40. If either one, we'll take them, and the first next year. So that'll be the deal we'll make with the Commanders. We'll still get the opportunity to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. That's who I want. That's my receiver. We'll draft him, use that 9th overall pick to either trade down, because somebody's going to want to trade up, because there's going to be opportunity to get that 4th quarterback, I believe. I believe Jay Daniels is going to fall around about the between 9 and 10. So somebody could trade up, and we could trade down maybe a couple spots, and then we can address the offensive line. I would like to get the center from Jackson from Oregon.
Oh, you can't have him. He's mine. You can't have him.
Right. Yeah, but y'all picking him.
Leave him alone.
We will be ahead of y'all, so we good. We'll be good.
Now that's on my stick. I got my stick, like from Draft Day. Remember that movie Draft Day? Draft the center no matter what.
You can
Draft
have the
center. So
center
if
from Georgia.
JPJ is there, we grab him. That's it.
You can have the center from Georgia. That's who y'all projected right now. That's who y'all can have.
Or Frazier. I'll take Frazier from West Virginia. Mims from Georgia or Frazier. I'll get him. But if JPJ is there, I'm taking him.
He's a second round. I think Frazier from West Virginia is second round center to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take him in first. I think he's going to end up falling to the second. That's our backup plan if we don't decide to take one of these offensive tackles instead.
Yeah. I think the Bears. I agree with him. They should go ahead and trade off the first round pick. I would get Marvin Harrison Jr. I would take him as number one as a top receiver, and it's so many good linemen in the first 15. At number 9, I would address it with a good tackle. First, second, and all my first round would be linemen and receivers. My second round would be defense and running back because they need a running back. So the Bears, if they hold on to Justin, trade off the first round, they can rewrite history with, because you can still get a good backup out there at a reasonable price. You can still get a good backup because backups they expendable now. But again, this is what, third offensive coordinator, third, system. That's a lot. I don't know no quarterback had 3 in the first 4 or 5 years. But I like Justin. He's a good player. I know his father personally. He's a team player, man. Chicago ain't gonna pay him. They don't want to pay him. They ain't gonna pay nobody. Watch me. Anybody in there, remark my words. Next time somebody big come up, they ain't gonna really pay him. They gonna let him go. That's what they do.
What you just said right there.
Wait, they signed DeAndre Swift, so they got a running back.
We don't need a running back. We don't.
So you address that. Now you go for your receiver and your lineman. You good? They'll be straight.
But Trey, just that point you just made about the Bears don't want to pay, in particular, their quarterbacks. If they do that and they go and make the moves, what Hink brought up, move the chess pieces amongst the draft and all that, meaning that they not going to pick up Williams. They're going to trade and fill up some other spots. And they mess around and don't pay Fields when it's time to pay, and he, pretty much he takes it personal and goes somewhere else because they don't pay him. Oh, hell. Oh, man, okay, how you want to get fired then?
No, but
you want to get fired because you don't want to pay Fields, or you going to get fired because Williams go on to have production and hell.
Well, the thing about it, we got Fields for 2 years. We got this year, which is 4.
Yeah.
His 5th year, we could sign a 5th-year option, so that's 5. If it comes down to it, we can always franchise tag him, so that won't be a problem either. So we got him locked up. It won't be a problem for us to sign him because right now, if we sign a 5th-year option, we don't have to pay him $25 million. That's a little bit. That's less than half of what they get on the franchise tag. So the money won't be a problem. We got the money. We under the salary cap. It's just about figuring out is he the guy for us, and I think he is. But I'm not Ryan Poles, so I don't make the decisions. He will. He's gonna have to make that call. So.
Well, as you see on the screen, it's up to our final thoughts. So, I guess I'll go ahead.
Look. Who's Black Navy? You ain't shit. Give these guys 2 hours.
That's been is that popping up now? I don't know who that.
Now hold on. I'm just an engineer, not a producer. Don't blame me. Blame the headman himself. I just follow what Big Brother Hank.
Black man got 30 shows.
I'm gonna keep pushing. I've been pushing for a while now. I'm keep pushing him.
And hey, do me a favor. When you go down to Texas, slap them up on left until you give them 2 hours.
I'm gonna get the people to sign a petition.
He in DFW with me and Dante. But my final thought, I alluded to it earlier, and it's about the Cowboys and their lack of free agents outside the linebacker they just picked up. I'm not really upset or surprised by the Cowboys because it's what they do every offseason. This particular formula they've been following for over a decade. I'm not mentioning all the stuff they haven't been to the Super Bowl or hell to the NFC since the '90s, but just this formula they're using.
Hey, can y'all hear me? Y'all can
Yeah.
go as long as you want. You can go as long as you want. Black, they relying on me, man. Y'all can go as long as you want, man. Rock it out. Rock it out. Rock it out.
Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Don't stop right
rock it
now. Do not stop right
Rock it
now.
out.
My only thing, I let them go, but then
Don't
the
stop
little
right
one
now.
I have over here, she
you.
gets too
Yeah,
rambunctious.
Don't go
same
by
here.
your
Yeah,
order.
I
You
got
need
some stuff I got to do tonight
You
also,
need
so
to
I probably
update
need
me.
to
Don't do that.
But
Sorry.
yeah.
We'll do it next week.
They follow the same formula. They want to build through the draft and spend very little in free agency. And I guess that's a ideal situation if you can hit on every draft pick that you draft. They don't. They hit on some, and then the rest, hell, we still waiting to see who's gonna show up from last year's draft. So that's still pending. So they don't like to spend money during free agency. So I'm like, okay, you put together a roster that can contend in the regular season. But then those same players that you be drafting, literally all of them, Michael Parsons, Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, majority of they Tank Lawrence, they will put up numbers in the regular season, and also they disappear like hell in the postseason. And this is multiple years. It's not just last year. Multiple seasons they've been doing this. And my biggest thing is the same holes they entered to the offseason, they go through the regular season with. They bypass the whole trade deadline and continue. And them same holes that we saw in the offseason are the same ones that show up in the postseason. The reason I don't get mad at teams like the Eagles at least, they address their holes. If they see a hole in the regular season, they at least address it before the trade deadline. And as a fan, I can respect that. If it don't work, it don't work. But at least you addressing the hole. The Cowboys don't do that. They do the same process, and literally, they suffer the same exact fate every season. I'm like, well, damn, man, are you going to change it up, or are you just going to keep doing what you're doing? Now, Jerry going to offseason, and he they going all in. And right now, we like, man, y'all doing the same thing y'all always do. So, okay, y'all can go 12-5 again for the fourth straight season. But we kind of already know what's going to happen in the playoffs because these draft picks that y'all drafting, yeah, they hitting on them, but for whatever reason, I know Dak catches a lot of heat for it, but now it's the other ones too. When the playoffs get here, they do not show up. They flat out disappear. Michael Parsons, one of the bigger ones. I'm like, man, what the hell going on, man? They produce like hell, but they just have a quarterback who literally, Dak Prescott literally a shield for the rest of the players from the Cowboys. He takes every arrow that's coming at that organization. Damn near when he gets his new contract, it's going to be even bigger arrows. CeeDee Lamb, Tank Lawrence, Michael Parsons, none of them, they going to be that. All of them just shielded. And so I don't get upset about it. I'm just like, man, it's just going to be another year of the same old thing. They literally suffer the same fate. So I'm not expecting them to go through free agency and just spend all willy-nilly because I don't want them to do that. But when you have players out there that can really address this position of need, in this case running back, we just lost ours. You had Barkley, you had Henry, hell, you even had Joe Mixon, and then Aaron Jones come out.
Right.
And Mixon and Jones is big ones. That's
so
one
like, okay, you're gonna address it in the draft, I guess, and we see how this goes. But they literally follow the same formula at least over the past decade in this Will McClay era. And they suffer the same exact fate every season, but it doesn't suffering that fate doesn't prompt them to change something up. So, and I was like, all right, man, y'all doing the same.
So Sean, since I know Cowboys, fans, they like to go really deep into the Cowboys, and I understand that. Shout out to y'all bad GM and owner. Shout out to Jerry Jones because he's running all that. He's making all those decisions.
No, it's not Jerry.
Yeah, he's making all those decisions.
People on the outside keep thinking it's Jerry. It's not Jerry. It's a three-headed monster. Jerry is the face. Jerry is the face. It's
Is it
his
the
Jerry's just
son
a figurehead.
and Will McClay does a draft. Jerry does.
so,
When people think of
It's,
Jerry
it,
Jones, they think of '90s Jerry. It's not like that no more.
at this
what,
point,
what,
Jerry Jones is Lady Eloise. He's a
so
figurehead
what
Yeah.
I'm saying is,
for the most part.
Why does Dallas keep digressing regardless of who's at the helm on
Stephen
the
Jones
field?
is very tight with his money. He is
Because you have
very
the same
complete
ownership
opposite of
structure.
Jerry.
There's
Man, listen,
no pressure. There's no pressure at the top. There's pressure in
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
yeah.
If they're not
the,
winning, you gone. There's pressure with 31 other franchises.
the
Well,
Cowboys
30.
The Cowboys get to get all the excuses from every other team. Can't no other team have excuses. The Cowboy fans give their team all the excuses.
So when you guys say there's no pressure, so are you saying Cowboy fans they just don't put any pressure on the team whatsoever to make
No.
change, or Jerry doesn't listen to it?
You can put pressure on the team to make changes, but there's two people that will never be fired, and that's Jerry Jones and that's Stephen Jones.
Like
Jerry
Mr.
will only
Bennett.
be fired by passing away.
Exactly.
And then Stephen is what, 50 something? So he's gonna, or 50, 60, whatever he is, he's gonna have the title for so long. There's no pressure at the top decision makers changing any decisions.
Basically, what I was saying
no matter what reporters say, there's no changing in that.
Yeah, but
What I was saying about
the team, they don't respond by like not going to games. Have in the past have boycotted games or something. I mean,
that's
I'm
the
saying, like,
other thing. He structures it to make sure, and the way the NFL is built, basically NFL is an 8-8, 9-8, league the way it has it structured. So if it's structured like that, if you do just well enough, then the team will have it, and then they get the hype machine, and Jerry comes, what they call him, Jerry Poppins with the hope. And so that's kind of how it goes.
Oh, okay.
I got friends that are Cowboy fans, not in Texas, and they all do the same thing. When the Cowboys, something happened, and then it was this, and then
the Texans got pissed off with their ownership, and you saw that. They stopped going to the games, so that's when the tickets start getting low. Cowboys, they won't do that. But to answer your question, Mr. Bennett, just like I was alluding to Hank when we were talking about the Bears, how if these decisions don't work out, the head coach and the GM job is on the line. Cowboys, the head coach is the only one whose job on the line. Everybody else, they just free to make decisions with they know who gonna fire the owner.
Yeah, but even then, a lot of it depends on how Jerry likes to coach. I mean, Jason Garrett was like 8. How many 8-8 seasons did Jason Garrett have for all those years? And there was like no movement. I think the last coach who was really fired quickly was Bill Parcells, right? He was there for like what, 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
I want to say he was about.
I think it was like a mutual parting more so than he got fired.
Yeah.
That one was kind of like because of who he was. They didn't say it, but I'd heard from people that he basically, for lack of a better term, he got fired, and then he was, of course, he was like, "Hey, I'm retiring." He went to Miami or whatever. But no, that's the only thing. Johnny's right. The only person that gets it is the head coach. There are a lot of fans that like kind of sell all the hopium, but it's just like, I'm
saying, but he stayed with Jason Garrett for how many years, and they were
stayed with him for way too. He stayed up with him for way too long, and that's the thing. It's like, I appreciate Mike for winning enough games to make it, make the playoffs consistently. But I said it last year, if he didn't win,
I mean, if the guy's currently 12-4, that's hard to justify firing. I'm saying that Jason Garrett,
that's hard to let him go.
Doesn't it?
It was 8 and 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's the saying. When Jerry's into you, that's like it. Like, I don't care what happens. Tony Romo, great player. Oh, I thought he was a very good player. Would throw the interception at the wrong time always, especially in the playoffs. But again, if he wasn't hurt, we wouldn't even be talking. We wouldn't be even talking about you being right now. Yeah,
Dak was the most
he loved him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Romo became expendable because Dak went on an 11-game winning streak.
Plus, he was hurt, right? I mean, he was hurt that season.
Well, he came back.
He was hurt, and then the injuries, the injury concerns with him.
Like I said, we wouldn't be having this conversation if he didn't have those injuries.
I say,
Jerry's guys, that's it. That's like,
that's it. No, that's true. Like I said, like I mentioned last week, he's gonna make sure to keep that relationship so he can be the likable guy. And then that's a problem. And then I remember when I was growing up, and I was just like, I knew it wasn't normal. We see the whole he on the sidelines stuff, and it was just like, man, that's that. And now looking back at it and how bad of an eyesore that was, and now how you're selling marketing opportunities. Like, some of that is wrong, like with the culture of it. The only thing is that sucks about free agency. You see the other teams making the moves. No matter what you say, it's gonna somehow they're gonna say, "Hey, this roster is gonna be his roster is gonna be worse. The draft wasn't that good." People are gonna project the team to win between 7 and 9 wins. They're gonna pick Philly to win the division. They're probably gonna maybe pick Washington because they're making moves. And some kind of way, they're gonna win 11 games, and then that's why you don't see the people not go to the games. Then the season tickets are sold out. So if they don't go anyway, they sell them. So he still makes the money. So it's kind of like he never feels it. He's built a brand so much that it never feels it, and it's just kind of like at this point you don't know what's going to happen, and so it's just kind of like you watch. I expect the regular season to be good, but then after that, it's like you already know what it is. So
that was my final thought. It was just a rant because I'm not surprised on the lack of what they're doing so far in this free agent because they've been doing it. Because, like I said, I don't want them just to spend all willy-nilly, just spend all this high dollars to players or whatnot. But I do want them to show something different than what they have been the past decade.
Yeah.
Which is they've literally been. I mean, it's one thing. Okay, you made it to the NFC Championship. Hell, you made it to the Super Bowl. You know, some span during this decade, but you literally suffer the same exact fate. You get as high as the divisional round, and then you perish. I'm like, man, something. I mean, change up something. But they so tight with the money. They worry like hell about spending within the cap because they want to pay their players. That's their main. They want to pay their players that they draft. But then
they pay them at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like the best thing to do is you have to get, even if everybody's gonna laugh at the contract, you pay the player early, and then someone else will surpass it. I want Lamb to get paid before Justin Jefferson, who's a better player. I want him to get paid before who's the guy that said Jamar Chase, because no matter what, they're a better player than them. But if you don't have a replacement, if I'm an agent, I'm gonna rake you by the coals and be like, nah, that's cool. Play it out, play it all the way out, and I'm gonna get more money than him. That's what happens every time. Like they play this hardball, and then Jerry, like a cupcake, gives it up. Y'all give up the contract. Y'all got that got y'all raked over the coals. You can't, it got y'all. And it's just like y'all make it like y'all businessmen and y'all make all these great moves, but when it comes to contracts, y'all suck, man. Y'all ain't won a contract in forever.
But ain't Dallas ain't they worth more than almost any other team in the league? Ain't they
more than any other team in the world?
That's his Super Bowl. That's his Super Bowl every year. I'm the most valuable team.
Dallas is worth all this. They can't shell out a few little dollars because they let Pollard go.
The cap. The cap is what's
they don't manipulate the cap well enough. I'll say that all the time.
Who puts Dallas over the cap?
Just the way they do that, the way they structure their contracts, they have a lot of every team, flip switches or something. They flip a lot of money down the road, and then they owe people on their cap from the deals they made. Like they're still paying Zeke.
But Jerry don't give nobody no like signing bonuses or nothing. He just give you contracts. Sometimes he catch up with you.
He gives the signing bonuses, but then he'll do stuff like they might have to, like say for instance, Tank Lawrence. They might flip a switch on his deal, and then next year they'll be like, "Oh, we got to get rid of Tank," or they flip the switch on Michael Gallup's deal, and then it's like, "Bro, Gallup didn't look good after that injury. Why did you do that?" Now this offseason, he's probably gonna get cut in the next couple of days, and it's like, so why did you do that? Why did you? And then like they never have the cap right. Like we talk about those quarterback teams that can spend on their quarterback because they're young, like the Texans, picking up Joe Mixon or trading for Joe Mixon and signing Danielle Hunter. They're able to do that because they got a quarterback on the rookie deal. And the Cowboys had Dak on the rookie deal. They cut Romo, so that was messing up the cap. And it's like y'all never. It's like they're always up against the cap, and it's kind of like.
And I'll make this my last point on that's what Dante was mentioning about with Dak and his contract. Their biggest mistake with him, they waited too late to re-sign him. It was what year was that, Dante? He started off like super hot the first 6 games. So 2019. Because they should have offered him an extension before that. But he started off 2019 so hot. During those 6 games, they tried to come back and talk, okay, let's sit down and talk about this new contract. That's when Dak and his agent said, nope, we're going to wait it out now. Because he started off so hot. And then after 2019 is when he raked them over the coals on his contract. So they like Dante mentioned, man, they wait so long to want to. They go back and forth, try to play this hard ball. And also, they did the same thing with Zeke. They're gonna fall to their players, especially their cornerstone players. It's just a matter of, okay, if you wait too late, now you're gonna be really paying them a whole lot more money than what you ever expected. So yeah, that's the Cowboys basically being the Cowboys. That's why I don't get surprised by them anymore. Hell, I don't know. That's
Hey, real quick, I know we were on final thoughts, and I guess we're going till 10, but I just wanted to go over one last point. You did have another bullet point here. Is it time to move on from these two legendary coaches? Who were you referring to?
Oh, I think I accidentally copied that from the previous show. Those coaches. Well, I think one of them was Mike Tomlin, I believe. I forgot. Because I think we talked about in the past.
We did, yeah, we did.
How the outside of Pittsburgh
I literally
viewed
thought this was going to be, and I kind of drunk the Kool-Aid. I literally thought this was going to be his last year. The way they fell off, they lost 3 games in a row to back-to-back 3-10 teams, losing to the Patriots and then losing to Arizona. So yeah, it was looking pretty dire there for a minute. So again, Mason Rudolph, I think, bailed us out and got us to a playoff. Got to a playoff game. So and then with the change that happened, then so things happen in the moment. But yeah, that was the worst. I've heard the fire Mike Tomlin chants for the last 10, 12 years, and this is as bad as it got in terms of that. Now it's like everything's hunky dory in there. So just imagine, what a few moves that are made that could just change everyone's perspective on things. So that was definitely an issue early in the year. But who was the other guy? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I can't remember the other head coach because I'm trying to think of a coach who had a longer tenure.
Well, the only one left is the Baltimore coach, right? Him and Tomlin. They've I think they're the longest tenure.
Yeah, but it wasn't
Belichick. It might have been Belichick. That's a question because obviously no one picked up Belichick on any capacity this past year. So will he even get back into coaching it in the next year or two?
Now, one topic I'd like to get to next week is what's so different between Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy. Because one of them is viewed highly even before the whole Denver tenure. McCarthy, he's not. So I like to get to that one next week. But I'm like, if I compare their accomplishments, they damn near identical. But one of them don't have the perception like the other. Yeah, they both won a Super Bowl with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
That's a good one.
One of them so far has been able to show them some type of production with a non-Hall of Famer. That's McCarthy. It's yet to see what Peyton is doing. It's like all his success came at the heels of Breeze.
Yeah.
So. I like to get to that next week. Cause I'll be scratching my head when people be bringing that up, like McCarthy can't coach. But then this dude, who before he got to Denver, they was held so highly. I'm like, well, hell, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely want to get into for next week. And I know by next week the brackets will be out next week. Yeah, because that'll be the first round. Well, the real first round, not the play-ins. I don't consider that. The real first round will start next Thursday.
The first.
And so
my luck with the brackets has been god awful for the last 5 years. I'm usually out of the first round. Some 2-15 upset usually takes out my whole bracket. So
I'm usually a lot better, but I haven't been watching as much, so I don't have as good of a feel. So
same here.
So I think that's my problem.
Right.
Shame on y'all for not watching a real team. I know Trey Ferg don't know anything about a real team because his coach just got fired today. But a real team like
Kentucky, I knew you was gonna say that.
Yeah,
we play basketball.
Yeah.
Underachieving.
Yeah, there you go.
Underachieving.
Y'all sound like some haters, but I am having a free bracket challenge for any of you guys who want to participate. It's like I said, it's free. Just for bragging rights.
Oh, you got a group? You formed a league?
Yes, I did. So just
send me. I'll join yours.
Let me know, and I'll DM it to you.
Okay.
the link to you. And just let me know. Just let me know.
Okay,
So
we'll do. Yeah,
I'm with
so
you.
I'll let you know. I'll take it now.
Okay, I guess my final thoughts is my hope is that we do keep Justin Fields and that we do trade it over for our first pick. I think if we give Justin Fields a real shot and opportunity, I think he is going to definitely make a difference. He's got a lot of doubters out here right now, and he's got a big opportunity to prove a lot of guys wrong. And I hope he takes advantage of it. I like the young man. I think he's an upstanding young man. And, black man leading our team. I love it. Everything about it. I like him. I like his leadership. I like his passion. He's loyal to the team and to the organization, and he's showing up a great thing. So I hope it continues.
awesome. I think mine. I'll wrap up again. I love the moves that the Steelers made on both sides of the ball. So I think they're really setting themselves up for some success. I do hope they get, they get Boyd from Cincinnati. I think that'll be a nice slot pickup at receiver. And then go into the draft, just looking to beef up the O-lines and whatnot. But very excited, for what's coming up this year. Can't wait for the draft. And definitely looking forward to, what this future's going to hold. But I think this, in general, though, AFC North is going to be the most, competitive, I think, division in the league next year. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's going on.
Yeah. So I'm just going to step away from football a little bit and just talk about, look, fellas, now that we're going to go into the draft, now that we're going to focus on the NCAA Final Four, it's a good time to start training, man. Start getting into some half-decent football shape, basketball shape, boxing shape, tennis shape, whatever shape you can get into, man. Change it up a little bit this summer, man. We're going to take over, man, all the sports. We are the best at all the sports. Some of y'all should start playing ice hockey. I don't know about that, but hey, try it out. But, it's a good time, man, for young men, man. You can't sit around these spaces being mad at the world. Go out there and get in shape, man. Eat right, get all your health checkups, get your colons, your thyroid, whatever you got that's bothering you, get that shit checked out. Get an x-ray, get an MRI, get it all, because I'm asking for it all. I want to know exactly what's going on with my body. It's enough out here dealing with the people and dealing with your mind. And if your mind ain't right, your body ain't right. So just pray, be honest, treat people with respect, get in some good shape, man. If you got man breasts, turn them into biceps. If you got flab in your arms, turn them into triceps, and get your pecs together, just your thighs. This is a great time, man, for real. It's gonna be a beautiful summer everywhere you go, man. Just save yourself, man. Work hard. Love yourself. Treat people right, man. Other than that, man, shit. If you want to go learn, hey, if you 20, y'all should be filling up the basketball courts. If you want to play football, baseball, because it's a lot of chances they're going to start some amateur leagues. And if you stay in the right shape at the right time, you never know. You can be making $150,000, $200,000. Because they do got this new league coming out. If you can run fucking a 4.5, 4.40, and you figure like you can bench press 225 pounds, you might want to go try out. It's a good opportunity, man, to change your life. So, with that, man, hey, we sports forever, man. And yes, the Cats, they are who they are. But, I do agree. Keep Justin Fields, pick some good linemen. Shout out to Russell Wilson. Pay Dak Prescott his money. Dallas Cowboy fans, stop crying, making excuses. They just like everybody else's team. Stop doing it all over. And shoot, everybody else, man, be safe, man. It's Wednesday. Everybody go do some good exercise tonight.
All right, fellas, man. I appreciate you coming through. Shawnee had to go and take care of the kids. I know mine are back there yelling. I basically gave most of my final thoughts already. The only thing I'll say is I'm looking forward to seeing the tournament and how good. I know we're gonna talk about that next week, but I'm also really looking forward to the playoffs because I know we talk about it all the time about a young star, and we didn't get to talk about it, but a budding young star right before our eyes. That's more of the throwback kind of a player as Anthony Edwards, and I think he's the star right in front of our eyes. That's an American-born player. Another player that has this team in the Eastern Conference as a top 4 or 5 seed in his second year is Pablo Banchero, and it's just like, hey man, that guy is quietly really making some noise, but because it's in Orlando, We're not paying as much attention to it. That's somebody that I follow. I challenge anybody, if you're an NBA fan, follow a few guys and see what their stat lines are. Watch their replays. They're big on that, and they'll give you all of their points in like 30 seconds, and then you can kind of look into that team and get the stories. Because I think it's just real interesting that we got a couple of guys that's coming because they show it all the time. Curry, LeBron, KD, Harden, Westbrook, all those guys, they're on the way out. This is the change of the guard is here. You got the guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the younger guys coming in and taking over. And so besides we know Luka, we know him and they push him a lot, but we got guys that are pushing him out. So it's just gonna be real interesting. So that's all I got for y'all this week. I appreciate everybody in the chat. So y'all had a lot of convos going on. Some of it was y'all was in there, it was a little questionable. So looking at you, Poppy, it's real questionable with your sports takes, man. I appreciate you for showing up anyway, brother. He is always appreciated. And hey, man, everybody, I appreciate y'all. Trey Ferg, Mr. Bennett, man, we are out, y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
Sir. Take care, guys.
Peace.
Subscribe now.